for all my listeners out there, man, I have the opportunity to sit down with an incredibly gifted comedian that goes by the name of JUAN VILLAREAL. Did I get it right? Juan?
Yep. Yep. That's good, man. Like, man,
Like,
that
no,
sounds
get
like
it right. Get it
yeah, like
right.
that sounds like an infection or something right there, man. Hey, you know, it was funny because when I was younger, I was single for a while during the game. So when they would bring me on stage, y'all give it up for Juan Venerio. I'd be like, well, they go all my chances right there. I'm gonna go home by. Ain't nobody want to go out with somebody named Venerio.
Venereal, you know what I'm saying? You a super STD now. You know what I'm saying?
So go ahead, Juan. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us where you're
where you originally from? How long? Where you originally from?
I'm from Houston, Texas, and I've been
Okay.
doing comedy. Yeah, I've been doing comedy since March 3rd, 1992. For 31 years now.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, you've been putting your work in for real, for real. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know you ain't wake up one day you just wanted to be a comedian, right? Or was this all your passion when you were a little kid, or did you grow up wanting to be a comedian or something else?
What was
No,
this?
I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be a detective.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so I went to school and I studied to be a security guard doing the first process. So I was commissioned. I carried a gun, and then I did that for 5 years. I was really young, and then my cousin put a stolen car in my garage,
Oh
and
damn.
yeah, and they started tripping and they fired me. And then
Wow.
literally I was thinking, I was thinking about what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And I was sitting in my garage. My wife was like, "What are we gonna do?" They had we were going through some financial difficulties really bad. And then I found a little piece of bud, a little piece of bud. Back then, I used to buy a nickel. I didn't smoke that much or nothing because we had no money to put it. It was like, I was like, and I knew where all my little roaches were. Like, oh man, it's cool. So I was smoking it. It started getting cloudy. Started raining a little bit. Newspapers flying around in the garage, and then a paper lands right in front of me, and it just opens up, bro, and it just says, "Be a star. Amateur comedians wanted." So
Mm.
I sat there for 30 minutes and I thought about Eddie Murphy's Delirious. That's the first one that I saw that I'm like, wow, like, what I mean? Paul Rodriguez, I've seen them all, but Delirious, like, we saw that by accident in my uncle's house and they couldn't find the remote. So we had to see that, we had to watch it, but it was a great night. They ended up loving it. It was really cool. I thought it was just awesome, man, because I saw a black comic, go on TV and make fun of white people and
Right.
Elvis Presley and Ricky Ricardo. And, so to me, that was like, wow, because I lived in different hoods and, it's weird, because when I would even comedy, when I started doing comedy, I started in BET. I did BET 11 times, so I was on BET a lot. My first 2 or 3 years of traveling, I was with Chucky Ducky and Bruh Man. They got me on tour. Yeah, so we were doing military bases all over the country, and then and I would see black comedians and Latino comedians go out there and just beat up white people,
Right.
just hey, crack it, they this and that and a whole bunch of stuff. And then at night, I would go like to the white comedy club, I guess, the white room, and watch them, and I would see them do material because
Mm.
they can't make fun of Mexicans or black people
Right.
like that. So right there, I started noticing like, okay, wait a minute, and then a lot of comics uh talk about the same thing in LA. Like I would go to the comedy store, and I was one of those comics that would sit there and watch the other comics. I loved it, but at that time I started 92, 93. That's when OJ was going to that thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So 20 comics would go up there and they all had an OJ joke. And a lot of them were the same joke. And I would tell them because they were all outside, like being cool, like, oh, we don't watch comedy. I'm outside. Let me know when it's my turn. And then they would go up there and have a bad set. And I would tell her, hey man, like, you know why they didn't laugh at you? Because the other guy just said the same shit you did. Like, so I was like, I was that guy bugging everybody. And me, I never wrote down a joke. I've never written down a joke or had to be creative or nothing.
Right.
I can just talk about, when I was on food stamps and shit like that, and barbecuing and Pepe and Leroy, and a broke Mexican with a genie. Like, we was abuser.
Hey,
Like,
Juan, just the fact that you're a cop and your cousin leaves a stolen car in your garage,
Right.
I
yeah,
guess your destiny was sealed right then and there, my brother. You know what I mean?
yeah,
'Cause that's some
yeah.
funny shit. I don't care what nobody say. That had to be some funny shit. I bet it wasn't funny at the time.
Right.
Oh nah, I was crying, bro. Come on, mama. I was 25 years old, dude. Come on, mama. Yeah. Yeah, and that ain't no joke. It's funny
No.
now, but
So being diverse and just like being in that Mexican culture, was it kind of hard for you to be accepted into the comedian world, or was it like were you able to be accepted like right then and there, like going in and different things of that sort? Because
oh, it happened so fast. Like
okay,
I did the Laugh Stop here in Houston, open mic every Monday. They had open mic, and oh my God, great comics, legends have come out of that room. And I mean, we still have some here. We have James Pineapple, and then Andy Huggins, and they used to run with Bill Hicks, and they were the Texas Outlaws and Sam Kinison and all them.
Okay.
So yeah, they were legends. That room, they would go there sometimes, and it was really cool. And that was a diverse crowd, diverse comics and everything. But then the hip hop opened up, and I told this friend of mine, a black comic, I'm like, hey man, they got a brand new comedy club, man. And he goes, oh, I know the hip hop. And I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me? He's like, that's a black club. One, you
yeah,
ain't going there. And so I went there. I went there my first time, and Rushion McDonald was the owner. Rushion,
mm,
Steve Harvey, Anthony Brown, David Ray.
Yeah,
wow, okay,
Yeah, and I didn't know, like black people late for real, like all the time. You know what I mean? Like I didn't. So so I get to the show, and I'm thinking, I get there like an hour early, and Rushion was setting up the tables and setting up the chairs, and I'm like, "How you doing, man?" He's like, "What's up?" I was like, "Well, I'm a comedian, and I want to see if I can go up." And he's like, "You do comedy?" I'm like, "Yup." He's like, "Okay, I'll let you go up." I'm like, "Cool, man." I said, "Here, let me help you," and I helped him set up the chairs, and he's like, "You ain't got to do that, my man." But I'm Mexican, dude, and there's a black guy working. I mean, like, I got you, bro. We got this. This is
right,
I can't just sit there and watch you, bro. Like
right.
my
yeah,
family will get mad. Yeah, so then it happened that fast, and it sold out, man. He had that club sold out. The hip hop was sold out. It didn't matter who was headlining, but he was bringing in beasts, man, like Arnez J and
Yeah.
Anthony Brown, Paul. Oh my God, and then Rushion, and they were just killing it, man. They were just, whoo! I saw some beasts in that club, and they had a contest. I did the contest. Then the winner got a book there for a whole week, a
Wow.
weekend, a paid gig. That was my first
mm,
paid weekend. And he says, I'm going to bring in Carlos Mencia, who's not even a Mexican, to my black comedy club because he's going to be a millionaire and you need to watch him. So he brought in Carlos Mencia, and I got to work with him. And I mean, all this happened, and then I got on BET. They had auditions and stuff. Like all this happened like in like 8 months. Like I
Wow.
started in
wow.
March, and then October I was on BET, and February I was on HBO.
So that
Wow.
manifestation happened really
So
fast.
yeah, that blew
Yeah,
that blew up for you like quickly. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And then
Yeah, you know what I
and
mean?
BET loved me because it was like, I wasn't being offensive or being bad or nothing. I had, I was talking about being poor or whatever. And they like the diversity. They're like, oh man, they wanted Latino comics and black people are like, oh, BET don't want nobody else. They were looking for anybody that was funny.
Right.
Hmm.
Like, come on, yeah. So what do you call it? it happened that quick, and then bro, man, got me on tour with them with Chucky Ducky, and man, I was still on food stamps, and I mean, I had 2 pairs of pants, and oh my God, bro, my first stories when they started traveling, because I was getting paid $75 a show. They were flying me, putting me in a nice room, limo, and then I was making 75 a show. And you know, I didn't care. I thought that was like, man, I'm gonna talk 15 minutes and make $75. Like, and they feed you.
But
And
you
you
know what?
know,
It was the success along the way, and what it
yeah.
brought you to
And
today.
then you know, these rooms were sold out. These shows were sold out. Like I didn't know the promoters were making 20, 30,000. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
right,
that found out later on when they started, you know, when I started becoming the door deals. I'm like,
right, right. They
well,
make
yeah,
20,000 and give you $75. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, they get.
you're gonna be
I think
happy.
they're
You know
getting
what I mean?
Chucky a
Right there,
thousand,
yeah.
Birdman a
Right now, let's
thousand,
have another
and
joke.
yeah, it was like Birdman 1,000, Chucky Ducky 1,000, and me 75, and I think somebody else was like 150. And what's funny is that one of the promoters, Vance Bradford, became my manager. I needed him because I didn't get a chance to graduate, man, or finish high school or nothing, go to college. So Vance started helping me. He was like, "Hey, man, they're calling for you. They're trying to book you in Dallas. They're trying to book you over here." And I'm like, "Hey, man, do you want to? I'm like, do you want to be my manager? I need a manager, and I'll make you my manager." And he's like, "Okay, I'll try." And he became my manager and one of my best friends. Like we're still at it today.
That's
So,
good.
but yeah, but when we did an NCO club and they wanted me to headline, and they're like, okay, yeah, I mean, and they're like, okay, we got 700 or 800 people in here, and tickets for $20. And my manager's like, okay, and I'm just looking like I don't know what's going on. Like, okay, like I know how much I was gonna make, and then you know, because the check, everything comes to my name. So when she said, okay, so yeah, so we're paying you 16,000. Yeah, I mean, I was like, I'm sorry. She goes, yeah, you're making 16,000. And I was like, is this how it always works? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, and that's when I looked at my manager, man. I just looked up at him and he was just like, I'm like, hey man, we gotta talk. I
we,
know, I know. I knew this. I knew this day was coming. I knew this day was coming. I'm like, wait a minute, dude. Y'all were doing 2 shows at 1,000 people. Like that was
right,
2,000 people at $30. That was 60 grand. And
right.
I made one, and I was making 150 that night.
Wow.
So you know, I started. I was stealing, bro. I was taking the silverware, phones, towels, robes. I was like, you know, we were poor. We lived in the hood. I would
Right.
call my wife and be like, baby, my ex-wife. I would call her and be like, baby, uh, they got me in a room and it's got silverware and they all match. Like, so we can do this. Like, she's like, you ought to bring it home. I'm like, it's already in the bag. It's already.
It's already
So
on its way.
that was the first weekend. Then the second weekend, I got a little braver and I got some comforters and some pillows and some phones. And then the third weekend, I got a little. You know what I mean, I took the iron alarm clocks and a whole lot of stuff. So yeah, so they started seeing the bill, and then on the fourth weekend, they were like, it's got to be Juan. And my manager told me, he goes, Juan, we saw you the fourth weekend. Like it already happened 3 times. So we see you coming in with a bag. You know what I mean? A big ass bag, Juan. And that motherfucker looked like it had nothing in it. You walking like he goes, now we checking out. We checking out and you dragging this motherfucker. I had lamps. I had all sorts of shit in there, man. They caught me.
Yeah.
They were like, how do you take lamps? Like, how do you they take it apart?
How
Like,
you get the
well,
lamp out of here? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Hey,
I
if
was
y'all
like,
gave
it's easy.
right, if you'd have gave me a little time, I would have figured out how to get this bed out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was like, little by little, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had an opportunity, man. I think there was a story that when you had an encounter with Tupac.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was the first time. The first time it was I got nominated for a BET award, and my brother was there, who hardly ever goes to a lot of my comedy stuff. Whatever he works, he's got the family. They try, he hardly ever goes to my shows. He
Right,
tries to
right,
make it when he can, but he's like, "Hey, man, Tupac is right there. He's calling you." And then
Wow.
I saw him and I went. I'm like, "What up, Pac?" And he said, "What up, man?" He's funny, man. That was cool. So we kind of talked for about 10 seconds. That was it. And then he saw me on Fat Tuesdays, which was, mostly, all black night.
right.
And the Shack was there and Christopher Darden was there, OJ's attorney. He
Yeah.
was there. He was in the front row. What do you call it? Man, there was so many people couldn't play. And then Joe Torre popped into a guest
Wow.
spot. Chris Tucker.
Mm,
There was so many people there. So then I went on stage, and I'm used to performing here in Houston in the hood, and Mexicans in Houston, we say the N word like
right,
Right.
fluently, like
right.
back and forth, like back and forth.
Love
Like
the
we got
language,
Asian,
baby.
we got Asian people that say it. It's funny, man. Like you know what I mean. Like they sound more black than some of my black friends. Like,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, so I said that word and the joke, but because I was used to saying it over here. So I said it and it just, I got a standing O. They loved it. And then when I
Wow.
got off stage, that's when Pac ran up to me. He ran
Yeah.
up to me, he's like, "Hey, where you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from Houston." He's like, "Hey, you real, man." And I'm like, "Yeah, you Pac." Like I was like,
Right. They
you,
had to be an
you,
inspiration in itself.
like
Right.
you Pac. He's like, "Nah, man, you just came in here, man, because I ain't never seen no essays talk like that. That's why I knew you weren't from here, because they don't say Mexican, they say essays."
Right.
He's
Right.
like,
Right.
"Man, I never seen no essay do that, man." He goes, "Man, you just went into a black room, you know what I mean? Rocked, yeah, you rocked them, man. You got a
Yeah.
standing O, man." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's what I want to do, man. That's what I want to do. I want my shit to have the crossover." And I'm like, "Well, that's why I study Bruce Lee's philosophy." And then
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Griffin was right there. Eddie Griffin, my dude. Eddie Griffin looked up and Pac's like, "What you know about Bruce Lee?" And like everything. Like I'm a big. I still. That's
Yeah.
why I can use it in my comedy. That's why I can do a all white room, black room, mixed room, a
Hmm.
corporate gig. I go to schools now and do sixth graders and junior high and stuff like that. So
Oh.
because
That's
you got to
dope.
have the ability to adapt. I mean, be like
Right.
water and adapt. So and Pac was saying this to me. He was like, "Man, that's what I want to do with my music. I want them to play my shit at the club, and I don't care who you are. I want them to bump that shit. I want them to feel that shit, whether you black, white, Mexican." He was just talking and we were smoking and I'm listening to him and like, man, this was a 22-year-old kid saying this shit, man. I was
Very
like,
wise,
damn,
beyond.
Yeah. I had to be
yeah.
dope.
Like he had a extended vocabulary. I was ghetto as fuck back then. I was like, "Oh, what's up, dude? We're gonna go. What's up? I'm gonna do a drive-by, steal a car. What's up? We're gonna fight somebody." So yeah, I was out the hood, man, and then I'm in Hollywood, straight
have
out
you ever
the hood.
So
have you had a chance to travel like overseas? Is the comedy is your routine overseas? Does it work for you? Is it good as it works for you in the States when you go overseas to perform? The
Yeah, well,
comedy?
I haven't gone overseas.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't yeah, I haven't done that. I haven't left my country, man. I was in the army. I was in the military. I do shows for military here. We do a lot of raising money, helping vets and humor for heroes, and we do a lot of stuff. But I've never been overseas, man.
Yeah, I'm
I
a
was like, man, I was like,
So with all
You
of
scared?
all of
You're gonna be with the army. I'm like that. They might be the ones that arrest me, like, because I don't drink. I've never been a drinker, never been a drug user, nothing. I smoke a little bud,
Right,
and that would change shit.
Mhm.
They'd
right,
be like, "Hey Juan, I got a gig for you, in Chicago. I mean, they want you. It pays this much, cool, but you can't smoke." I'm like, "Okay, never mind."
right, right,
My man would be like, "Huh?" So. Like
So
I got to live this life. Like I didn't let this life live me. You know what I mean?
right.
right.
Your rules are like, nah, whatever. Because they say, well, we'll give them 5,000. We'll give them a bonus. I'm like, I already made plans with my kids, man. We're gonna go fishing, or we're gonna go ride some jet skis, or we're gonna go do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then because comics, a lot of them when they start, they don't put a cap. They don't. You know what I mean? Like you want to keep growing and stuff like that. That's cool. Uh, I seen some comedians that made it kind of big, and I won't say no names because I don't like to talk about comics, but he's a big comic, and he said, yeah. Well, what? I don't know where he's at. Now they're talking about another comic. I don't know where he's at. I mean, you might find him at a comedy club somewhere, and I wanted to tell him like, bro, that's what some comics dream of. Like some comics are like, bro, if I could just headline, because all you
Right.
need is 24 clubs. There was like 400 at the time. All you need is 24 clubs twice a year. That's 48 weeks. That's a half a mil. You're good. That's
Good.
what people work for. And then,
Right.
there's other comics that want to do movies and want to do this and do their specials and get on TV and be more of a draw and sell out arenas and that's cool. Like, like I would help people with that. 'Cause I turned down a bunch of movies, man. I turned down a whole lot of. Will Smith wanted me so bad that Overbrook,
Mhm.
he had a company, and they offered me like 250,000, man. But I was living in Houston, like, nah, man. And they wanted me to live there, and I'm
Right.
like, nah, I can't. He said, but we need you here. I'm like, well, if you need me here, they got these little things. It's called planes. Like, I could be here quick.
Get me there and get me back.
Yeah, and I'm thinking Will Smith, like he might have his own plane, like he can go get me, like it's faster.
Right.
And what
Mhm.
do
Right.
you call it? Yeah, so I was in when I first started this game, I was a scaffold builder, construction, worked on roofing. I did a whole lot of stuff.
Right.
So yeah, so when I started, I'm like, man, if I can make $500 to $800 a week just
Mm-hmm.
talking,
Mhm.
just talking.
I'm winning.
I won. I won.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And they give you free sodas and free chicken tenders. And they're like,
You were
"Shit,
set.
that's it." And these comics start like me when I started becoming a draw. Cedric was paying me good money to open up for him. I was
Right.
making like 5,000 just to open up. So that's a lot of money.
That's a
I mean,
lot of money.
yeah, people were like, well, how much is Cedric making? I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Right.
Like, bro, where you going, Juan? Like, I'm gonna go get pay the weed man. I'm gonna catch up with my balance. You know what I mean? Because my credit was fucked up, but with him, it was good.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? I had good credit with the weed man. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So, yeah, and then we were doing 4 shows a weekend and doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's like, man, like, so it was good. And then I started becoming a draw. My manager says, hey, man, people want to see you more and you can headline. This is you. And I started doing that. And yeah, I started, charging, $20. And then I was getting 12, 1,300 people, 1,400 people.
Nice.
And, the first time that I ever sold out like that, where I promoted it, whatever we made, and I'm talking money so people can understand. And I'm from the hood, so that's why I was talking about it. I made 27,000.
yeah.
20 the first time I headlined and I sold out and used my name and I bought my radio and I rented the hotel, but the hotel let us have the ballroom for free.
Mm.
And they go, if you do shows here, we'll give you the rooms for free. Just bring people in. And I think I sold out like 14 shows.
Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, so it was 27,000. Now my manager's like, hey Juan, you know what I mean? You made 27,000. And he gave me a check. And I was so hood back then, like, what's this? That's your money. Like, I don't want no check. Like, I don't trust this. I'm not gonna just walk into a bank. Hey, give me 27,000. Like, I didn't. Like, I'm like, man, they're gonna take my credit score. I owe back child support. They're gonna take it, bro. They're gonna take it. And then, and he's, he was like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Juan, what do you want? Like cash?"
Yeah.
And he was looking at me like, "Juan." I'm like, "What? They don't got the cash?" He's like, I'm sure they got the cash, but I don't think they walking around with just $27,000 in their pocket. I'm like, so they heard me talking, and they're like, "What's up, Juan? Everything good?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. I just didn't know we were gonna get a check. I usually get paid cash." And they're like, "Okay, uh, what time you leaving tomorrow?" I'm like, "Oh, we check out at 12. We'll be here at 10." So they came over at 10 o'clock in the morning with a box and gave me 27. They put a bed 27,000.
Whoa, that's what's
Wow.
up.
Now, yeah, yeah, that was one of the scariest moments of my life, bro. I thought I was going to prison. I thought I did something bad because I don't know. If you're a baller and you got that kind of money, cool. But I wasn't a baller like that. And all of a sudden, I'm making 3,000, 4,000 here, 5,000 here, whatever.
And that's
Now
how they
it's just
were giving it out back in the day in a box.
in a box, 27,000. And then I looked at my manager and they laughed. I said, "Thank you." And they laughing. He's like, "Damn." And I was like, "Hey, man, I ain't riding with this shit."
Right, I was getting ready
Right.
to say that. Like, yo,
Like,
now I gotta figure out how to protect this shit, yo.
Yeah, he was like, "What?" He was like, "What you mean?" Like, "I'm not riding that." I'm like, "Dude," because we got pulled over a lot. He was black, I was Mexican, and we used to always
right.
get just for no tickets. I
Right.
mean, none of us. He never got a ticket. We got over 600 cards in 20 years, where we got pulled over at least 600 times. You know what I mean? We
Mm.
were keeping cards and no tickets. They were just checking us, make sure we had no weapons. And when you live in Houston and you go I-10 and you go toward New Orleans,
Yep.
like they call that the dope route. So
Yep.
that's where they
Yep.
catch everybody. They just be standing there having 20, 30 troopers just pulling over everybody.
Yeah.
So, we would get pulled over a lot, but we never carried anything because we didn't want to go to jail. We were afraid, bro. We were like, my
Right.
manager's never, he never caught a K, he never had a fight or
Nope,
nothing.
like
Like
that.
he's
He ain't
not,
that
Right.
kind of guy.
yeah, he's like, he's a military child, graduated, got 2 degrees and stuff. Me, I was thugging shit. I like, what we got to do?
He said, "Well, let's
Uh,
get it." Like, yo, let's, you know what I mean? Let's do what we gotta
Yeah,
do.
I'll be back. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, there was some time because he didn't want to hang out sometimes, and I did, and sometimes shit happens, and I
Yep.
remember going. I remember going. We was in Baton Rouge one time. I remember going to the room about 5, 6 in the morning to his room, going like, "Hey man, we gotta go." What do you mean? Like, no, we gotta go now. Like, what you mean? Like, I don't want to talk about it. It's best you don't know. But pack your shit. I'm gonna give you about 10 minutes and stuff. He goes, well, what about your stuff? Like, my shit's in the car already. Like, I'm about to leave you. I'll get you a plane ticket or whatever, but we gotta go, man. Like, yeah,
Well, tell us
yeah.
about a time there was somewhere you have been where you performed where you bombed. Like it wasn't a good night and you fucking had to look around and be like, yo, this didn't
You
go
know,
really well.
Did you mess up
you
on
know what?
stage or anything?
The only time in 31 years, man, the only time that I bombed was at a high school, and I had been doing comedy for 3 months. So I only had about 15 minutes, and they wanted me to do 45 minutes for
Oh,
$75. And I had to follow David Raybon, one of the owners. There was a guy named Billy Jones from Dallas who played the keyboard and did some impressions and then Jay Lamont.
mm-hmm.
Jay Lamont who did all the sound effects. He had the whole school rocking, and then they put me up there, and they said, I was like, "What's up?" I couldn't say, "What's up, fuckers?" I was like, "What's up?" And then somebody goes, "What school you go to?" I said, "Oh, I went to Milby, and that's the rival school." And without even thinking, I just said Milby, and man, they booed the shit out of me, bro. Like that's it. It was over right there. I couldn't talk.
Couldn't get
I was
back
trying to
up.
talk. I started cussing at him. Man, well, fuck y'all then. This bullshit ass gymnasium. I thought we were gonna be in the auditorium and stuff. Like, yeah, I don't need this bullshit. And what do you call it? And then we had a beat up car. My ex-wife went with me, and our daughter was like,
Oh,
He'll be
oh,
back.
oh no.
Yeah, man. Hopefully Juan get back
"Did it
with.
black up?"
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you there?
Oh, we
No,
can't.
hold on.
We can't see you. We
Yeah,
can
hold
hear
on.
you.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Hold on. It's a I'm gonna put do not disturb. There you go. Are we good?
Can't see you yet.
Right, we can hear you, but
We can hear you.
yep. We can
Okay.
hear you.
Man, hold up. Oh, look, camera. Bam. There we go.
Alrighty, yay.
That's
Yeah,
what's up.
man.
All
That's
right, we
what's
got
Man,
up.
you
I'm
back.
50, I'm 56, man. They talk about hit the link, hit this, that, with everything. I'm 56, man. We talk about, hey, you want a link? Yeah, man, bread or tortilla. Like, I want a link. Yeah, you know what I
So
mean?
what is something that was like inspirational that stuck with you from like maybe like a famous comedian that you've been around, or or one of your favorite comedians, or have you ever, what was something that actually stuck with you that was inspirational if they, said something to you that stuck with you?
You know, because it happened so fast for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said, in 8 months, I was in Hollywood.
Mm.
Wow.
So I'm from the hood. I was in Hollywood. So now there's, Martin, there's Arsenio, there's Andrew Dice Clay, there's, Dave Chappelle. Everybody's there. Like, and I'm just like, I would just listen. Like
Right.
I knew my position. I knew my, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I need to shut the fuck up and just listen. But
Right.
Yeah.
I was raised in this game by them, by Paul
Right.
Mooney. He would give me some great advice. And then, I mean, Steve Harvey would give me some great advice, and DL and Cedric and Adele Givens. Oh my God. She would uh say just sniper stuff because I don't really even know her like that, but we would see each other doing shows, and she would just say, this. It was just great. Cheryl Underwood, me and Cheryl, we
Mm,
traveled. We did a whole
sure.
lot of shows, man.
Yeah. Sure.
So,
Fuck, yo.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I was raised in this game totally different. Because when I went to Hollywood and came back, and then I would listen to these comics, and you know what I mean? And they're like, no, it don't work like that. Oh yeah, dude. And some of them, thought that I was maybe trying to brag, which maybe it sounded like it because I
Right.
mean, shit, dude, like you know what I mean, it happened so fast. But I was just trying to help them. Like, no, like no. And I wanted to tell them, no, that joke you got, that strong joke, there's like 10 comics in LA doing it. So as soon
Right.
as you do it in LA, they're gonna call you out on that because I went to LA and I did a Latino night, and I thought these motherfuckers were playing a joke on me because I was seeing my shit just chopped up, and I'm like, it's like every one of these comics was doing one of my jokes,
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
wasn't like they never seen me before. I'm
Right.
Right.
totally new. It's just like there's a lot of stuff that we relate, and it's
Right.
like,
Right.
yeah. I was
We
like,
talk
oh,
about
so
the
that's
same things. Right.
Right.
yeah, so that's why I went totally different. That's why I talk about my life. I could do an hour and 20, hour and a half, and not even talk about no current events. That's why people love me. They're like, man, I don't talk about nothing that's going on the news outside. Nothing. Like it's just like I'm really lucky I get to do that.
I would
Like
think
I'm
too. I would think too, right, Sam? Because when you go to these different comedy things and different things like that, especially us as people, um, don't want to see the same like stand up act every
oh,
time we go to
I
the
can't do
place.
that.
Or yeah,
Yeah, I can't do that. Like if you don't live in Houston, you miss out on a lot of great stuff because I get booked here and there. Sometimes somebody, the improv will call me or somebody, hey man, can you work this weekend? Can you do this? Yeah. And so I change material and I have
Right.
some badass shows that I can't do no more because it's just like because people were telling me like, man, I see you out of town and you kill shit. Like, bro, you're just you always been funny. Like when I go out of town, when I see you in New York or somewhere out of your comfort zone, like where I can see that you're just being, focused and you're killing shit. But bro, some of the best shows have been in Houston in front of 20, 30 people, 40 people that were just like, man, like that's a special.
Yeah.
yeah. And we see
So yeah.
with Honest John and David Raymond, and it was super dope. We seen
Oh
you.
yeah, that was fun. Oh, that was fun. I got to make fun of those people bowling downstairs, and yeah, I was trying to turn off all that shit. I was like,
Right.
man, where's the power box of this shit?
I know that's right. So, hey, but it's clear when you do what you do that your material be original. Like, even though if you and somebody else was in the same place and see the same thing, when y'all both spoke on it, you would speak about it in a completely different manner than that person because you just see it differently.
You know, that's the thing too. Like, and comics love me, man, and they respect me, and I love them. Like, I've never really had a beef with
Right.
nobody, like with
Right.
nobody. So, like from Corey Holcomb, I know. Remember that Corey Holcomb and that earthquake thing?
Yeah.
Like, well, I text both of them, and they both text me back. Like, I love both of them. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they both my dudes. They might have, but like Corey's cool with me. I mean, and Corey don't tell me like who could be my friend or
Right.
oh, you know what I mean? Oh, you like him? Get away from me then. If you gonna fuck
Right.
with me, like Corey respects me and stuff, and because Corey's a real dude. Me and Corey, like, you know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
hey Corey, man, some dudes outside talking shit. What's up? Well, you wanna go outside? Like, yeah,
Let's go
me
get
and
him, man.
Corey in the 90s, we were it was yep. So
So
Corey knows me, man. Like he knows I'm a real dude, whatever.
real dude. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What have you ever had an opportunity to perform in any movies or films?
Well, I just did my first movie, a small part. I play
Okay.
a homeless man, but I got to play me.
Right.
But I was supposed to be in a lot of movies, bro.
Yeah.
A
No, I
lot, a
can
lot.
imagine.
But they what do you call it? I came second in the Latino comedy competition in the Hollywood, the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
And the next day I heard like Juan, I don't know from the club. I just heard my messages like Juan, I don't know if you know this, but ABC, NBC, they're all looking for you. You got Showtime, HBO, you got and I that's when I had gotten divorced. Me and my wife got the divorce and I was going. So I didn't. I got there and the competition was like a week later, and I came in second place. But they they wanted me. Like
Right.
I got offered so many deals right there and then, and yeah, I mean they were telling me, "Juan, we can do this for you." Man, I'm trying to get my wife back and my kids, man. They're talking about, "Hey, Juan, we get the development deals. We're gonna get you a car. We know you ain't got a place to stay right now. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get that." Like, man, I'm go home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
so
just
I
wasn't in
wasn't
that
worried.
mindset at the time.
I wasn't worried about that, man. And some
So
comics they get into it deep, and they don't care what's going family, whatever. They
right.
gotta go.
Right.
And yeah, me, I
Just
was
want to
like,
do.
man. And then some of the movies back then, I was different. My mentality, like Speed, that was one of
Right.
the first ones that they wanted me to do. Speed and Sandra Bullock, that was her first movie, whatever. So I wanted to see Keanu Reeves. But when they wanted me to read the part, I was supposed to be that little dude on the bus. Hey, it's not the boss. The guy with the
Yeah.
gun, the little Mexican guy. Yeah, remember that
Yeah.
movie, Speed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm supposed to be on the bus, and then the cops should come in, I take out a gun, and then I say, stop the bus. But I didn't say it like that. I said, stop the bus. And they're like, no, this is a Mexican part. So I'm like,
Like
I
I
look
am
at my
Mexican.
manager like, yeah. I'm like, well, I'm okay. Stop the bus. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, no, we need more of an accent. Stop the bus. So this went on for about 3 or 4 minutes, and I was just like looking at them, and they didn't know how to tell me. So I looked at my manager, and he already knows I ain't gonna do this shit.
Right.
Like my
Right.
manager, yeah, because he wears glasses, he was like this. Yeah, and when he does that, like he already knew. So fucking around, jokingly, I'm like, "Hey, stop the bus!
Yeah.
I'm not playing." They said, "Perfect. That's what we want right there." I was like, "Man, fuck your script, bro. I ain't doing this bullshit. Crazy, y'all tripping." And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm like, this movie's all racial. Like, this is for white movie. Like, this is. They're like, what are you talking about? And there was like 6 people looking at me. I'm like, you got 2 Mexicans on a bus. You got 2 Mexicans on a bus one of them has a gun and he shot somebody because he says, "Hey man, I didn't mean to shoot the guy." You know what I mean? You wanted to say, "I'm not playing."
I'm not.
Like Mexicans, they have a gun. You know what I mean? I'm like, "Can I shoot somebody in the leg or something?"
Right,
And
right.
yeah, you really. And they're like, no, just stick to the script. Like, you really want me to say, "I'm not playing"? Like that's not the way it goes, man. I've
Not the
been
way
on
it goes.
buses where they've been jacked like that. That's not how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I was like, and it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just like for white people, fuckers. And they're like, "Why do you keep saying that?" I'm like, "Because you got two Mexicans on the bus. One of them has a gun, and then the two Mexicans start fighting each other. The two
Right,
Mexicans start fighting each other, bro. Okay,
right.
and then the gun goes off. Bam! A bullet is shot. There's 20 million white people on the bus. Who does the bullet hit? The black bus driver.
Right.
So right away, you got rid of two Mexicans and the black dude, the black bus driver. Like y'all got him off the bus. Y'all said, no, ain't nobody get off the bus. Oh no, that black bus driver gotta go.
So
We gonna put that little white man.
you took those movie roles serious, and that's good that you actually had that mind frame to just be like, with certain stuff that you did.
But see, I didn't know that they didn't. You know what I
Right.
mean? They didn't have it.
Right.
So they were like and then I would leave and my manager would be like, "Man, you fucked them up, man. They didn't know what to say. They had no response. They had no like they put down their pens thinking about it
Damn.
like should we shoot a white guy?" Like, yeah, so
Hey man,
and
so
then
what you got coming up next in the future, man? What's some of the things that you want to do? Some of the accomplishments that you want to get done in the upcoming future here?
man, June 2nd, June 2nd and June 3rd, they're doing a show and it's called the Latin Queens and Latin Comedy Kings of Comedy.
Okay.
And they asked me to be part of it. They wanted to be, they've been following me for a year. They go through my stuff. They this and that. And they're like, "Hey man, we think you're a king. We want to make you a king."
That's what's up.
And where you gonna be at?
In Midland, in Odessa, at the Noel Wagner. It's like a 3,000 seater, and then we're doing Hobbs, New Mexico.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so like that's a big word, king. So, I thought about it because I haven't really done a special or nothing like that. And then I look at the other Latino comedy kings and I'm just like, so I was like, "Look, man, I'm gonna take a lot of shit for this. I'm already getting a lot of shit. I'm already that you're gonna be a king? Who makes you a king? How do you become a king? Well, somebody it ain't like legit king, like a real king." And I'm like,
Right.
well, we're doing king shit, bro.
Right.
Like that's
Right.
gonna happen. Like who's gonna make you a king? Like I'm like the same people that made Cedric and DL and Bird. They just got 4 comics that were doing really well, and they called them the Kings of Comedy.
Kings of
They didn't
Comedy.
say they were better. They didn't say they were better than Richard Pryor or Red Fox or they didn't say none of that stuff. You know what I
Right.
mean? They just made it a show called the Kings of Comedy, and then the Queens came out. And right now we got the Latin Kings of Comedy, but I see them driving to a show sometimes in a van, and the guy Latin King's going to Bakersfield, and he's videotaping them, and they're in the back seat, Joey, and Paul Rodriguez is driving, and it's like, bro, if we're gonna do a Latin Kings and Queens, we're gonna do King shit. We're
Right.
gonna be in fucking limos. We're gonna be in Escalades.
Right.
We're gonna be.
Right.
We're gonna fly first class. We ain't staying in
Right.
no fucking Comfort Inn. We're not like. If we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this because I'm gonna take a lot of shit for it. But
Right.
I'm ready for it. Like
I love it, bro. I love
yeah,
it.
and it's like in 2013, my mother got a tumor. So my stepmom, and so they put a peg tube in her stomach. So for 9 months, she got cancer. For 9 months, I was putting medication, food, water, everything in there, taking her to chemo, radiation. So for 9 months, I quit comedy. I had to stop because my dad didn't know how to work the machine and the
Right.
medications. You got to grind them up and stir it. And I mean, it's really hard. So I did that, and in 9 months I lost. Oh my God, because I had they had set up a tour for me, like a $1.2 million tour. Like
Wow.
it was already, yeah, it was already gonna happen. So I told them, dog, I couldn't do it. I gotta take care of my mom, and they were upset with me. People don't never want to talk to me. Like it got really bad. Now, you make enough money to pay somebody. I'm like, yeah, but that's my mom, fucker. She
My
wants
mom,
me,
right?
man.
Right.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
and so man, I'm trying to be really careful. No, I just saying, well, anyway, I lost everything. Lost my house, car. I was pawning my golf clubs. My wife was helping me. We went because then my dad got sick, kidney failure. He had went to dialysis, amputation, and my mom got dementia. So for the last 10 years, it got really, I lost everything, man. We were living in the hood.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, and in Houston, we got a place called Greens Point. They call it
Mhm.
Guns Point. Yeah, and that we were living in Greens Point, and even my thug hood ass cousins would be like, "Where you living at right now?" Like Greens Point. God damn, dog. Shit, like, they were afraid. Like, you got a gun? You need a gun? Like, nah, man. So so it went, really bad. My my dad passed away in 2019, and then my mom was already declining with the dementia and stuff, so she passed away. 2020, COVID hit.
Mhm.
2020, I was ready to go do some stuff. COVID hit, and then my mom made it through it because she was at a facility. But after that, she passed away. So last November made 1 year that my mom passed. You know what I mean, so they're resting, and I rested for a whole year. So in January, I told my manager, open up the book and let's tell these fuckers I'm ready to come. You know what I mean? I'm ready.
Ready.
So they put me on some shows, and they just been, I've been popping. I've been selling out here, selling out there, and things have been going well. So now in June, they're gonna make me a king.
That's
So I,
beautiful.
What's
I
up,
told
yo?
people, so in 6 months, I went from 6 months and said, okay, 10 years of not just doing sniper shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like DL would come to town and be like, Juan, yeah, I need some work, man. Come on. Snoop came. Juan, you want to work? Like, yeah, come on, dog. So I'm with Snoop, Cedric or whoever. They were all looking out for me, man. So now, I everything humbles me. And
Mhm.
now I'm ready to do this. Because when you're a king, you know what I mean? They're gonna make you like you gotta act like one. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You gotta talk like one. You gotta
Yeah.
respect the game like one, respect
Gotta move
others and
right.
help others and lift others. And you gotta be a positive dude. And I've been wearing this thing right here, anti-bully oath. 'Cause I go to schools and I told the
Mhm.
students I won't take this off, and they didn't believe me. And I've been wearing it for about 6, 7 years.
That's what's up.
So yeah, they're like these kids are like, hey, they're grown now. Some of them got kids like, hey man, we love that you're wearing that, bro. That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's
I was
what's
like,
up.
I told you, man, y'all gonna see this with celebrities on TV and videos, and so
And
they
I want to,
respect
I
that,
want
man.
to, I want to extend my hand out to the actual Latin community and Mexican community because you guys don't get your flowers that you guys deserve. And you guys, all of you, like even in music, because I actually just did a show with
Yeah,
it was like the Latin Music Fest or Mexican Music Fest, and
yeah,
it made me see a lot of things differently, just from like the culture and the music, the pop, the hip hop, the comedy, just all
yeah,
that stuff. It's super, super dope.
Hey, Ron, you
It's
got her
dope.
yeah.
fucked up. She in here getting all fucking emotional and shit. She's like, oh,
No,
I need more fucking water in this shit. I'm like, what the
no,
fuck?
dude,
No,
but that's
that's
cool
like what I'm
because
saying though.
I'm
It's
like,
super, it's super
because
dope to me.
my manager is like, hey man, so we're gonna do this. You're gonna be a king. I'm like, yep. And the other guy is like, well, who's talking? Yeah, you're gonna be a real king. I'm like, okay, we'll see. I mean, these people, these venues, these are $100,000 shows, man. So
Right,
it's already happening. Now
right.
people are trying to buy the show. Once we posted the flyer, we got buyers. Chicago, the House of Blues. We got people going like, "Hey man, let us buy that show." how much I want that show for. We got other promoters, so now it's gonna turn into like a 60 city tour,
Mm-hmm.
and we left it Latin queens and Latin comedy kings, not the Latin queens or the. So
Right.
we left it open so that we
Right.
can exchange people and give
Right.
other people opportunities. So we're
Yes.
Yes,
all gonna because there's a lot of Latinos out there that are fucking funny and they pay their dues
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
and they've
Yeah.
been overlooked. And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna be in this position to do this. That's why I told the promoters, if we're gonna do this, let's do it right.
Let's do it
Mhm.
Like,
right.
I mean, let's do it right because if not, I am. Like now that I'm saying this, I signed the contract, the flyers out. King, the Mexicans in LA. How's he gonna be a king, bro? Doesn't he owe child support? Like I didn't like will I be the first king to pay child support, motherfucker? So so I just said, you know what? They're like, somebody goes, my little cousin, man, he loves my comedy. He loves a lot of comedy. And he's like, bro, you can be a king. Like I already looked into it, bro. No, nobody's done what you've done. Like Paul Rodriguez is badass, and George, he's doing his thing, and Fluffy don't want to work with nobody, and she like, bro, and they're not really booking other people or doing shows or doing king shit. They're just out there. You can book
Mhm.
them, and they're driving to shows, and like I'm like, yeah, I'm not. I have a driver already now. I have an assistant. Like I don't. Yeah, so it's, I mean, my prices right now are pretty good. I get 2 flights, 2 rooms because my manager travels with me or my assistant. And so it's like I'm on a different level than some of these fuckers and they don't get it.
Yeah.
And then my,
Mhm.
my cousin goes, look, dude, you're the only one who did BET 11 times. I
Mm,
know you're tired of hearing that shit, but you did it 11 times. Okay, you came second in the Latino comedy competition in Hollywood and everybody wanted you. Will Smith, you came second in the Bay Area black comedy competition. You came second. That'll never happen again. That
right.
no, there Latinos will never be like you came second, and then you did this. Done this, opened up doors for other people. You booked other comics. Every show you given gigs to other people and this and that. He goes, nobody's mad at you. Nobody hates you. He goes, and how do you feel right now? I'm like funnier than any motherfucker out there. You know what I mean? Like funny, bro. Like
Yeah, yeah.
on a whole different level of funny.
A whole different level.
Like I
King's level,
don't give a
baby.
shit. Like
On the King's
they're like,
level.
Yes.
yeah, they're what about following people? Like, what do you mean? Like, what is this a big show? Like you don't understand how I grew up in the '90s, bro.
Yeah, man.
In the '90s, it was like, okay, uh, so and so, and then JB Smooth, and then Chris
Mhm.
Tucker, and then Martin, then Juan, and then what I mean Corey Holcomb, and then one of the Wayans brothers, or Chris Tucker. Like it was just like I
Yeah.
was around that. I was the only Mexican around all that, so I had to. I mean, to come second in a black comedy competition, that tells you something, fuckers. Like it was 150. You know what I mean? And it was
Real
funny,
talk.
man, because me and the winner, because they were calling out the names, and it was just me and him. And I said, the winner gets 5,000. And we were just standing there, and I kind of looked at him, and it's JJ from the SIP, JJ Williams. He's on
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
DVD with Cedric with me. And I said, hey man, you know they ain't gonna let little Mexican win. Uh, but I gotta stand you know, and you did it. And I said, so I think we ought to split this shit just to be cool. You know what I mean? And JJ looked at me so cool. He got that little smile. He just looked at me. He was like, "I'm about to win $5,000." I'm like, "Man, fuck you, you greedy ass." So I've done my things. I've
Yeah.
done what I mean, a lot of stuff. A lot, and then I don't put a lot of stuff out there too, as far as like helping people, charity work, and I'll be waiting
Yeah.
for somebody to call me out on some shit. Like I work with people that we build we get money and we're building wells in third world countries so these people can bathe and eat and
That's
drink
what's up,
and
baby.
cook and like
That's what's up.
I can't wait for somebody to fuck with me for real because I don't really need to do that. But once they fuck with me for real, and then they see what I look like, okay, yeah, like
And speaking
okay,
of Speaking of comedians, super quick, I want to send my love and prayers out to Jamie Foxx. Did you get a chance to meet Jamie Foxx, or
Oh man,
have
me
you?
and Jamie did some shows together, a lot of shows together.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
man, me and Jamie
Oh, y'all come.
were
Ain't
cool.
y'all ain't Jamie from Houston also down there?
Well, he's got family here. Yep.
I think so. I know.
He's close to Houston. I forgot
Yeah,
the town. Yeah, but
yeah,
he's
yeah.
close to Houston. Yeah, man. And I got I don't know if y'all seen that, but because I did that Laugh-A-Palooza,
Mhm.
and he really showed me like so much love. Let's check it out.
Oh
My
wow!
homie showing love, baby.
Shout out to Jamie Foxx. We love you.
That's what's up.
And,
John
Wow.
Villarreal. You see it right there, baby.
Yes.
Those, in case they fuck it up, they can't fuck it up because it's
Right.
right there. It's on screen,
You seen it
goddamn.
right here
You
first.
see it
Media
right here
Matters,
yeah.
first on
goddammit.
media.
So it's like, man, that's yeah,
Yeah.
we
That's
cool,
dope.
man.
Hey,
But we
Vaughn,
were
man.
I was single when I was hanging out with Jamie. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah. You
and
was in a lot of
Jamie was
problems.
single.
Hey,
Huh?
those are some of them nights when you had to leave right away, I bet. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Or stay for 2 or 3 extra days. I ain't gonna make it. The limo downstairs, like I would look at my company like I ain't gonna make it.
Hey, Vaughn,
Yeah.
man, we appreciate you coming out, man. You spending time with us, man. It's
Man,
been
thank y'all for
beautiful.
having me.
Yeah, man. Listen, when I first seen you, I hit Sonny. I say, yo, look, we need to get Juan on the show, baby,
Right.
because this is realer than real. Because I'm from the '90s too, and us '90s
Okay.
cats need to stick together, man. You
Right.
know what I mean?
And not
'Cause-
only that,
Hell
we
yeah.
represent the Latin community.
right,
We
and we
represent
represent a
everybody,
lot
just
of things that go
everything,
on
you
in
know.
Latin community.
So
Me and my vatos, me and my cats, you know what I mean? We do what we do, baby. You know what I mean?
Hell
So
yeah.
I just wanted to reach out to you, Juan, and say, man, come on to the show, man, and fuck with us for a little while, you know? So,
I feel you, man. Thank you,
yeah, man,
man.
we
Thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
me, bro.
Yeah,
yeah.
before you go, I need you to shout out and plug everything and everybody that's helped you get to where you are now, and also give
Yeah.
all of your social media footprints where people can follow you, man. They can kind of keep
Okay.
up with the things
Check it
that
out.
want to.
I want to thank first of all the comics, man, that at the last stop who who let me get on stage, who are cool because comics can block you. Certain groups back in the '90s, there were certain groups, but they didn't really like me because of the material that I was saying and stuff. And then I passed up a whole lot of them right away.
Right.
But we're friends to this day. We've lost a lot of friends. So, like I said, we're all friends. And now comics say, love you, bro. Love you, DL. Love Cedric, DL. Edgar, man, love you, man. Love you, bro. Like, it's so cool to hear comics say that now. Like, we're all in our 50s. And back in the day, it was like, man, fuck you, dude. Where you at? Where you at? Yeah. So I mean, and I want to thank all them, and then of course the hip hop man, J. Anthony Brown and Rushion McDonald, who I still call to this day. When I need, I just talk to him. But when I call Rushion, like he answers, he texts me back.
Yeah,
I
that's
love him, man. Yeah, Steve. I haven't talked to Steve, man. I think he's mad at me because I made fun of his teeth. Like they're too big, Steve. Like somebody should have stopped you and say, "Hey, bro, they're them a little bit too big, partner." Like shit, like those bulletproof. I asked my dentist because I'm doing some dental work right now, and I asked my dentist like, "Where did how did he get those teeth?" My dentist was like, "We don't know." Like, we're trying to find out. We think NASA made them other. That's money, man. So, but Steve was real cool, and Al Freeman. Al Freeman is the guy that I owe everything to because of that stolen car. I was on probation for 10 years, so I
wow.
was gonna turn myself in. I was gonna go. I was hood. I was gonna go try and flip something real quick, have a
Yeah.
couple 100,000, to leave for my kids and my wife till I came out. I was gonna do about 8, 9 years. So I was ready to go to prison. I was already mentally, and he's like, no. I know a state representative, man. He's Clyde Drexler's attorney in the Ghetto Boys, and he's Ron Wilson. Yeah, so Ron Wilson. I mean, I had a blue warrant. He took care of me. Uh,
So
the judge looked out for me, gave me travel permits to go travel with Chucky Ducky, and then I haven't had one ticket, like I said, in 30 some years. I respected that. And I've hit a few people here and there, but I've never been. I mean, I never got in trouble. Like I haven't got nothing on my record. I do shows for Homeland Security and all them fuckers. I do all of that, but you got to have levels of clearance.
Right.
So that's really cool, man. And after the king, this is why I said like, why are you gonna be a king? I'm like, because when I'm a king, I'm gonna be able to follow anybody. That's that's the thing. Like when I'm a king, I don't care who's in front of me. Like it don't matter, bro.
Right.
Like I'm different and this and that. And they're like, so you'll follow Dave Chappelle. Like Dave Chappelle, Cat, they all know me. Them fuckers know me, bro. I was the only Mexican around there. I've done the Cellar, I've done New York, I've done all that stuff. You know what I mean? I did the Bad Boys of Comedy. I did all them fuckers know me. You know, Guy Torrey, Joe Torrey, shit, all of them, man. Bill Bellamy, Monique, some more. They all love me. They know who I am. Yeah. All you gotta say, man, you don't want that little fucker. So June 2nd, man, I'm doing that show in Midland and Hobbs, and you can find me at Only Juan V. That's all my thing is at Only Juan V. If you go to my website, onlyjuan.com, that'll take you to all my stuff and my dates and my calendars, and there's videos and a whole lot of stuff.
Okay.
So onlyjuan.com.
you heard
Take you
it
to all
first
my
right
stuff.
here. Onlyone.com. You heard it
Yeah.
first right here on Media Made Music. Hey, Juan, once again, baby, I appreciate you coming out. And then let me just say this, man. May you be blessed in all the things that you do every day. And may
Thank you, man.
each and everything that you do, each and every day that you do it, my brother.
No, yeah, and I'm gonna do the best I can. I know right now I went a little bit overboard. I talk shit, but yeah, I mean I'm confident. But you know what'd be funny? That if I try to follow Cat and Dave Chappelle, and then y'all hear about it, what happened? What happened? Man, Juan bomb like a motherfucker, dog. I saw him on y'all show. He thought I'll follow anybody. I don't give a fuck. Man, he went out there. If he was at the Apollo, he would have start singing the Jesus song or something. Yeah, they would have booed him.
We appreciate you, Juan.
Man. Love you, boy.
Y'all be safe, man.
You too. Peace.
Yeah.